Welcome back, and boy, it's been a long time since we've had Jeff Crouere with us, and so I'm glad to reconnect, especially at the beginning of a new year. He's a veteran political commentator, columnist, and the host of the longtime running program Ringside Politics radio and TV show. He's the president and general manager at WGSO Radio in New Orleans, a nationally syndicated voice for Real America's Voice, and his book that he authored a little while ago called America's Last Chance. He does have a website, Crouere, and it's spelled CROUERE.net. And there's a picture of his landing page. Jeff, long time. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, thanks, Perry. Great to be with you.
Good to see you.
Thanks
boy.
so much.
Yeah, a lot going on. Boy, where do we start with a guy like you? What do you think of the narco war and what's happening in Venezuela?
Yeah, I was really shocked by, of course, how easy everything seemed to be to remove a guy who had been, really a long time thorn in our side, been sending drugs and gang members to the U.S. for years. And boy, in the span of a few hours, we were able to extract him and his wife. No U.S. personnel were killed. No aircraft were shot down. Hundreds of their soldiers were killed. So it was a flawless operation. And now he's going to face justice for the crimes that he's committed. And the question is, where does Venezuela go from here? It looks like the new president is being very cooperative, and she wants to be on our good side, Perry. So I think it's going to be much better going forward.
Where does it leave Colombia, in your opinion?
I think Colombia seems like they wanted to have a better relationship. And the president said that he had a good phone call with the Colombian president, who had been talking real trash about the U.S. and very antagonistic. And I think after they saw what happened in Venezuela, it became a different attitude. I think he got an attitude adjustment, Perry. So I think Colombia is going to be moving toward better relations. The question is Cuba. What's going to happen with Cuba? What's going to happen with Mexico? And I think obviously there are all these other foreign hotspots that we're looking at. So who would have thought this at the beginning of the president's term? It really has changed in a lot of different directions that I think people were not expecting.
There's a high probability that Cuba falls. Their main source of income has been cut off, and that was 27,000 barrels a day from Venezuela. So they have no income, and they could fall. Do we, somewhat hypothetical, I guess, do we pick them up as a providence like Puerto Rico? What happens to Cuba?
I think that would be a great idea. I mean, I think that we don't want to create more states, but maybe a U.S. territory. Maybe we could have many of our Cuban Americans go back and help rebuild that country. I know a lot of them would love to go back that had to flee oppression and dictatorship. So that's a country that's sort of been stuck in 1959. It's like a time warp going back there. And they've had 67 years of communist brutality. And it's right off of our shore. So it's a real threat to the U.S. to have a country that's so antagonistic, so close. I mean, we know what happened with the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Bay of Pigs. We know all the history there. So it would be, I think, quite a change to have Cuba as a friend. And I hope and pray that can happen. I mean, I'd love to see that communist dictatorship fall.
Okay. Are you, I know you're pleased. Were you surprised how significant the president was strategizing on the Monroe Doctrine to secure the Northern Hemisphere as it relates to security for the United States?
Perry, I mean, I've been advocating this for years. My point is, why are we spending all of our time halfway around the world when we're allowing our own neighborhood to collapse? It's like somebody being worried about what's going on in a city halfway across the state, but not worried about their own neighborhood. And that's the same thing with us. I mean, we had allowed the neighborhood to deteriorate. And of course, people were flooding in here, coming from Central and South America. We had no border. We had drugs flowing in here. Americans were being killed. So this is a direct consequence to Americans, whereby a lot of these wars overseas for the past 25 years have not been. So I think to reprioritize our focus on our hemisphere, I think is a very positive development. And I do think that we've allowed it to deteriorate for years, and that seems to be changing.
Okay, so Maduro's out, Cuba could fall, Colombia wants to cooperate, supposedly, we'll see. In the meantime, Mexico's sitting there inundated with cartels. What do you think the future of cartels in Mexico is?
I would hope it's going to be problematic. I mean, I would hope that they're a cushy situation whereby they run that country and they flood our country with drugs and they make billions of dollars and they own the politicians down in Mexico. I hope that's going to change. And I think the president has indicated that land strikes there in Mexico are on the table. And my point is this is an enemy that is killing untold number of Americans. So there's a direct result of what they're doing and what is going on in our country. And they have been allowed to operate without any interference from the Mexican government for a long time. And the president says that she is afraid of the cartels. So if we've got a Mexican president that won't take action, we're the big brother. We're the leader of the area, the hemisphere. So I do think we have to take action, and I think he is. I think he's going to strike these cartels in Mexico.
If he does that, is that a violation of their sovereignty, number one? And number two, it also could be an indication, even though she's afraid of the cartels, that the cartels are really running the government.
Oh, I think there's no doubt the cartels are running the government. I mean, how many times have we seen, Perry, a local politician in Mexico who stands up to the cartels later found dead, murdered? Any individual of prominence in Mexico that has stood firm against them has been targeted and attacked. So, yeah, she's definitely, I think, beholden to them. She's afraid of them. And we've got a president in the military that is not. So I think the argument can be made that this is an enemy that we can engage because they're killing Americans. They're a direct threat to the United States of America. And the Monroe Doctrine, which at one time was considered just as important as the U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, it was considered like the third founding document of the United States. I think that it would give us the ability to take action there. So it looks like that could be on the table. I don't know for sure, but it certainly looks like the president's considering it.
Okay, boy, there's so much here. Let's focus just for a moment, because I'll tie it together later. Let's focus on Minnesota, what's happening up there with ICE. As you know, Kristi Noem announced over the weekend she's sending in several hundred more ICE agents to fight the crime. And we also know that Minnesota now has been exposed of unbelievable fraud. Some figures as high as 18 billion, maybe even higher. So the question kind of comes is, does that, if they've been getting away with that kind of fraud by misusing federal dollars, wouldn't that create a haven for bad people that only ICE could go in and take out? And now the citizens are sitting there saying they're choosing between the bad people and undermining the exposure of the fraud in Michigan. What a can of worms. What's your view?
Well, I mean, I think there's a fraud that's been going on a long time, and we now are, I think, becoming aware of the extent of it. I think people have known about fraud, but I don't think they were aware of the extent of the fraud. So we've got the issue of going after fraud. Many of these states, I think, are overrun with it. Minnesota is an example. And then we have what's going on with populations of people that are here illegally, that are sending dollars overseas, supporting terror groups. Then we have ICE's operation where they're trying to remove people that are here illegally, that are engaged in criminal behavior. such as abusing children, such as human trafficking. And you have these leftists, Perry, that do not want to have any kind of action taken against these people. So you have leftists that are protecting the criminals and attacking our agents that are just trying to follow the law. So these agents are putting their lives on the line, and these activists are trying to protect people that are harming children, harming Americans, and breaking our laws. It's really an odd situation that we have the left now that has found themselves politically in an alliance with criminals and illegals and people that are here and they should not be here. So I think the Trump administration needs to continue doing what they're doing. And I think the American people, Perry, will support that. I really do.
Isn't it interesting that they want to protect all the illegals in their state and in their community that have come in illegally, but they want to send back the one illegal dictator that we got. They want to send him back.
and they also want to protect people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And what is he? He's involved in spousal abuse and human trafficking. And, you know, they made him a poster child for their movement. And, you know, this is a guy who's obviously a criminal and someone that shouldn't be heralded as a champion, but that's what they do. I mean, they make these people their heroes, their champions. It's crazy to me. Ilhan Omar, look at everything that she's done. Tim Walz. I mean, these are people that are, in my opinion, breaking laws and should be prosecuted. Yet the left heralds them as their leaders, their heroes. So we're in a really crazy situation in this country now.
Do you think the average citizen in America sees through all of the baloney, if I could put it that way, as far as it relates to fraud in Michigan and drug trafficking and closing the border? I mean, you got the left that's defending everything that's being uprooted and being exposed. Do you think the average American is starting to wake up?
I think so. I mean, I hope so. I'm praying that they are. But the problem is that people vote their pocketbook. And they're going to vote in this upcoming midterm based on how they're feeling economically. And despite all of this good work that's going on internationally and rooting out the fraud and going after the people that are here illegally and the deportations, people are going to vote, whether it's Republican or Democrat this fall, based on how they're feeling, based on, you know, their economic conditions. So I still want the Trump administration to make their primary focus our economic issues and our domestic issues. And if we can make people feel like things are more affordable, that's going to give the Trump administration a chance to continue on with this agenda. If the Democrats win and take control of the House, then all bets are off.
All right, let me take a quick break. Check out Jeff's website, Crouere.net, Crouere.net. There's a picture of his landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and it's been a while, but I'm so honored to have back with us. Firstly, at the top of the year, Jeff Crouere is back with us. He's a veteran political commentator, columnist, and the host of the longtime running radio program Ringside Politics, actually radio and TV. He's the president and general manager of WGSO Radio New Orleans. So you're in broadcasting up to your eyeballs.
Well, Barry, you know how it goes. I mean, just to give you a little glimpse into what we're facing here in New Orleans, you know, our major competitor is a network of stations owned by George Soros.
Oh, boy.
And the Soros network. So, you know, it's always a challenge to get the truth out in the media world. And we face it here in this area big time.
Are you AM or FM?
AM. AM. And the historic station in the city, the 50,000-watt blowtorch, is owned by George Soros. So that's
okay. So as you're aware of all of the finagling going on to keep AM radio alive, especially in automobiles?
It's got to be. I think in cases of emergency, and Perry, we see it down here all the time with hurricanes. That is your source of information for people. That's where people go to. That is community radio. And when all else fails, you have AM radio.
Yeah.
So it's a push that I'm going to be definitely doing more to try to save AM radio in vehicles, which is, a big portion of our audience. People are in their cars. They're calling in. They're listening. Yeah. They're on drive time, afternoon and morning. So yeah, I'm going to be definitely supporting. I know we've been talking about this for a long time. I think Congress needs to act.
Well, I've been a strong advocate for this. We have an AM station as well, but it looks like the president's for it, members of Congress are for it, few automakers are not. However, it seems to be moving forward, so pray that it gets signed and done. Good stuff.
Another thing, Perry, that a lot of electric car manufacturers were saying that, it conflicts with the electronics and the vehicles, but guess what? Not as many people are buying electric vehicles anymore. So, that argument is not as persuasive as it was a few years ago.
Not only that, they found the solution on how to fix that problem. So, all right, I want to come back to something. I guess it deals with fentanyl crises, the cartels, everything that is still a problem for us, and even how we approached capturing Maduro. The U.S. continues treating this as law enforcement more than security. What's your take on that? Isn't it both?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's both. I think you've got all kind of different dynamics at play. Yeah. I think what happened down in Venezuela was characterized as a law enforcement operation, but it certainly took the military to make sure it happened, and it does improve our national security. So I think it's a multifaceted issue, and then we've got to talk about the demand side, because obviously, if we're doing a lot to control the supply, to limit the supply, we've got to do something here as a country to deal with broken people, broken families that are turning to drugs and that are destroying families.
I understand a lot of cocaine came out of Venezuela, Colombia, comes up through Nicaragua and into the United States. But so does fentanyl. But it's pretty clear now, fentanyl is a direct export of China. And I'm wondering why we don't put more squeeze on that.
The president says he's talked to President Xi about it. I don't think we put enough pressure on China. I don't understand why we're allowing 600,000 Chinese students to come to our country. Those are basically spies. I think China has gotten a pass for a long time. So, this president's been the only one who's put any kind of pressure on China. And certainly we've seen that with the tariffs. But much more pressure needs to be applied to them. They're our number one threat. We just discovered here, Perry, in Louisiana, we've got our major air base here, Barksdale. And right outside of Barksdale Air Base, there are 2 golf courses. And each golf course is owned by a Chinese Communist Party member with ties to their military. Why that was allowed to happen is beyond me. And I wonder how many other air bases are surrounded by property owned by communist Chinese.
Missouri did something that was really interesting. They ended up suing the Chinese government because of what happened from Wuhan. And they were very successful at it, knowing that they would never be able to collect. So what they do? They seized all their assets. That, to me, is the ideal example of what we could do. Take that case and apply it to agriculture. Take that case and apply it to 2 golf courses on either side of a military base.
I 100% agree. I think it's a great concept and a great plan. And Missouri has got some excellent public officials there doing good work. So, yeah, I think that's something that we should follow here in Louisiana, and other states should as well. it's time to come up with some innovative ways to take on this challenge, and that certainly sounds like one. They're not going to collect, but certainly this is something that can help in a lot of different ways, and seizing the property makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened during COVID was directly caused by the Chinese, and obviously they bear responsibility for it.
Before I run out of time, what do you think is going to happen in Iran? Do the citizens win, or do we get involved militarily?
I certainly don't want to see boots on the ground. I think that the president's talked about getting involved if they keep killing protesters, and it looks like they've killed thousands of people. So he might be getting involved in some way, maybe airstrikes. I certainly don't see any kind of deep involvement, but I think what we can do is possibly send arms to the people so that they can take care of the challenge themselves. I mean, these are people that have been brutalized and repressed now since 1979, and their internet has been shut off. They've got no communications. They're being killed on the streets. So it would be a great day for the world if this regime would be overthrown. And it seems to me, from the research I've done, Perry, that this is the closest they've been since 1979 to actually challenging this regime. And I think we have a president that's going to try to support these people.
We cannot stand by and watch innocent people be slaughtered. We don't do that. So Iran could fall. Venezuela has fallen. Cuba, most likely, they say, will fall within weeks. That's going to put pressure on Colombia, Nicaragua, and Mexico. Quite a move in 2 months, don't you think?
To me, Perry, this is a move toward freedom. And this is a move toward giving people in those countries their rights back again. And I think it's exciting. It's something that is totally unexpected. One action in Venezuela can have so much ripple effects. And, I just give the president the kudos, because he had the courage to take the action that many other presidents wouldn't have taken. And he did it. And he's constantly taking bold action that other presidents won't take. And I think he needs to be given credit for that, because I think he's putting America first. He's doing it for not only other countries, but he's primarily doing it to protect our country.
What do you think will happen with Greenland?
I think we're going to be in some way taking control of Greenland. I mean, I certainly don't think there's going to be, even though I heard that there are military plans being crafted, I certainly don't think it's going to lead to any kind of military operation. But I think due to pressure that's going to be applied, there'll be some kind of financial transaction that will allow the U.S. to take control of Greenland. And I think the president makes a good point in that for national security reasons, that's an area that needs to be run by the United States. And again, the Danes, I don't think have been doing much at all with Greenland for decades.
No, Denmark can't offer anything. Now, the president did suggest, total population's around 60,000. So he's offering him $100,000. So he's kind of buying the boat, don't you think?
Well, I mean, that makes the $2,000 tariff rebate checks look like chump change, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do think the people there in Greenland, from what I can tell, are not happy with what the Danes have done. And by the way, our Louisiana governor is a special envoy to Greenland. Yeah. So he's going to be going there and, again, trying to negotiate on our behalf.
It's going to be interesting because they're part of NATO, and this has got NATO countries a little upset. So hopefully we can do this peacefully if it gets done. We'll see. Hey, Jeff, good to see you again. It's been too long. Let's stay connected. Will you be at the NRB this year?
I might be. A lot of people are trying to convince me to do it. So, Perry, I know you're going to be there, right?
I'll buy you a coffee.
Okay.
I'll buy you a coffee. How's that? All right. Good to see you. God bless you, friend. Take care. And let me say, folks, check out his website, Crouere.net. There's a picture of his website. Check it out, Crouere.net. All right. We'll see you next time on Focus Today.